Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyShow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. The website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go there. Use the audio button at the top of the screen to send us some sort of crazy message. I'll get it. Producer Spooter will get it, and it'll be fantastic. While you're there, order yourself an Apocalyptic Apparel t-shirt. That would be fantastic. Helps us out tremendously. Really does. It is Friday, March 27th, 2026. Happy Friday. You've made it to the weekend. Isn't that exciting? It kind of hit me yesterday. Easter's right around the corner, man. It's like already, what the hell is going on? But good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm here having my lovely Rise mushroom coffee. Delicious. I got a message from a listener the other day because, we've been talking about it on the show, the Rise mushroom coffee. And he asked me, he says, do you do what you do with your coffee? Do you put the goat's milk and the honey in it? And to be honest, I don't put anything in it. And the reason why is because I just never thought to. Right. So since I got it, I wanted to try it in its entirety of just drinking it black without any additives. And I think what had happened was, and the reason I never got to trying it with anything was because I purely make it out of convenience, mainly, right? Like if I just want one cup of fucking coffee, right? I'll just microwave some water for a minute and a half, throw the mix in, stir it up. I'm good to go. It's like instant coffee, right? And if it's like late night and I'm like, man, I could really use just a cup, but I don't want to make a whole pot. Boom. And for those of you that are saying, well, Dooms, you only have to fill the coffee pot so much. I don't have your traditional style coffee maker in my house. What I have is a stovetop percolator like espresso maker. That's what I have, and that's what I make my coffee in. That's how I prefer my coffee to be made. So I don't have the traditional, like, make a half a pot, make a quarter cup. Like, I can't do that. It doesn't come out the same. It doesn't work that way. So it's if I want an instant cup, boom, Rise mushroom coffee. And I don't mind it. It gives me a nice little boost. There's no crash later. We're rocking and rolling, man. And hey, I wish I could say brought to you, Doom Daily Show brought to you by Rise Mushroom Coffee, but we're not sponsored or anything yet. Yet. You hear me? Yet. It's probably coming down the pipeline. We're manifesting it, and the listeners are helping. Speaking of the listeners, guys, if you haven't shared, or subscribed yet, thank you. It's now time. If you haven't, come on, let's get it together. Also, make sure to give me that 1 week IRL, that 1 week in real life interaction. So I hope that everybody had a good day yesterday. It's now Friday. We're moving in toward the weekend. What did we do yesterday? Yesterday, I spent all day long driving around. I swear to God, my wife and I were in the minivan all damn day. And the most time I spent outside of the minivan yesterday was to take a shit. And we had like a school function for our kids we had to go to. So like that was it. We spent the rest of the day from 7:30 in the morning to like almost 8 o'clock at night driving. Just going here, going there, going everywhere. We went, we ended up driving out of state. Like, so we dropped the kids off early yesterday morning, drove out of state to go look at a boat. It might be the one. It might very well be the one. So we came back and went to the boat dealer to look at similar models to that one to make sure we were going to be okay with, like, should we get the model that's a little bigger? Should we get the biggest model? Like, well, what are we doing here? What are we doing? So we went back to the dealer and poked our nose around and checked things out. And it was like, kind of like, well, I don't know. I think that we might like the used one we found. It's probably the better of the options. So anyway, trying to work out a deal with the seller, and we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to go pretty good. I think we're going to end up with that one, but we don't, until it's sitting in my fucking driveway. I don't know. How to price boats on a used market is just something that fascinates me because prices ping pong all over the place. It's not like a car where you could look up other models and they're generally all priced the same except for like wear and tear and mileage. A price of a used boat, a boat could be 30 years old but have a brand new engine, and that shoots the price way fucking up. So I'm looking at these used boat prices, and they're like so close to new without warranties and shit. I'm like, why does anybody buy a used one? Like, I'm so confused about what's going on. So if anybody out there who's a listener knows how this system works, I'd love to hear it because it's confusing the ever-loving shit out of me. It almost seems like people have something and they just want a value for it. Like maybe you have a guy that bought a boat for 30 grand. It's 3 years old. And he's like, well, I paid 30 for it. So I want at least 25. But then you see the other boat, same boat, same hours going for like 20. And it's like, why is there a $5,000 difference? Is it because this guy undervalued it? Or is it because this guy's overvaluing it? Like, who knows? Then you'll see the same fucking boat, 20 years older, and then says new engine, and it's at 25 as well, and a new one's 30. So it's like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't understand this whole gambit with the used boat industry. It's not making any kind of logical sense to me. Yeah, that's all. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Need a break from reality? Well, sometimes I do too, and the place I go to take that break is the Beans and Weenie Show. You can find the link at linktree.com/BWD crew. The Beans and Weenie Show, where chaos and common sense wage war and you get a front row seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. You know the rest. Okay, so I didn't want to get this fucking Iran war. I didn't want to get more into it, but I stumbled across an article that I thought would be an interesting read on the show. So on the Epic Times by Ryan Morgan. Iran war reveals how drones are changing the battlefield. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. A strike from a single Iranian one-way attack drone marked the deadliest episode for U.S. forces since the start of the hostilities with Iran. The campaign to cripple Iran's military had been underway for one day when U.S. forces experienced their single deadliest episode. An explosive-laden one-way attack drone slipped through the defensive layers surrounding a tactical operations center at the port of, these names, Shubia in Kuwait. 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers assigned to the 103rd Expeditionary Sustainment Command were killed when the Iranian drone struck their position on March 1st. Several others were injured. The March 1st strike showcased the challenges that can arise in a large-scale conflict when waves of attack drones are mixed into salvos of ballistic missiles to exhaust defense networks. These relatively inexpensive weapons are driving military planners to reevaluate their defense systems and strategies. I mean, and it's kind of, you kind of got to think about it for a second here. Okay, as technology increases, old technology goes on the out. It's not considered the latest and greatest anymore, and it gets shoved off to these countries that aren't, so big and bad. Because like, they could have it. We don't use that shit anymore. It's kind of what happens. So just the idea of drone technology alone are things we've talked about on the show before, but, the idea that they're being weaponized in such a manner should have been on everybody's radar. I mean, these are nations and countries that will strap explosives to anything. Now you are giving them something that can fly? Duh. Who didn't see that coming? Okay. Addressing the deadly attack, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said the U.S. military has incredible air defense, but every once in a while you might have one, unfortunately, we call a squirter. Producer Scooter loves a good squirter, that makes its way through. A 7th U.S. soldier died on March 8th as a result of injuries he sustained in a separate drone attack targeting the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia on March 1st. Attack drones have also exacted a toll on other allies and partners in the Middle East. Bahrain's Ministry of Interior reported several civilians were injured in drone strikes on the island of Sitra on March 9th. A French soldier was killed and 6 of his teammates were injured when a one-way attack drone struck their outpost in Iraq on March 12th. Drones have been used to set fire to fuel deports in Gulf Arabian states that have hosted U.S. forces. In quotations, the challenge is particular with Iran is that Iran has a very wide selection of potential targets, said Doug Bando, a senior fellow at the Cato Institute who specializes in forest policy. In quotations, it's very hard to defend everything across the Gulf when you're talking about airports and air bases, emergency centers, etc. So, what do y'all think about that? I mean, we're developing, these aren't the same drones that you're going and buying from Walmart or Best Buy or whatever that you're flying around, over your house in your backyard and shit. No. These are serious drones with serious payloads. So the idea of, oh man, well, civilians have these nice little, civilian issued anti-drone things where they could shoot nets at them and bring them down and shit. Yeah, this is not in the same capacity. This is different. So how does one start defending against these things? Well, we will evolve. We will figure it out. We will formulate a plan. I mean, it seems to me like the most simplistic thing to do would be amp up your air defense systems, but every once in a while it's, you're going to have a casualty. One's going to get through, unfortunately. That's just how things work. So, I don't know. It does seem like Trump is putting in the work to de-escalate the situation. But the way the articles have came in, and if you guys are getting different vibes, you let me know. To me, it seems more along the lines of we make one step forward and 2 steps backwards. Like, it seems like when we're making a little bit of progress, like Iran, the regime does something fucking stupid. Like, almost as if they're testing the waters. Like kids on a playground, the bigger kids saying, hey, if you don't give me back the dodgeball, I'm going to, go kick your ass behind the monkey bars. And it's like, Iran's like, here's the dodgeball. And they stick a knife in it and flatten it. And then it's like, all right, back behind the monkey bars you go. Like, that's what it's kind of seeming like to me. It seems like a big pissing contest because how it works is like, I'll get an article. It says, and just to put it very simply, it's like, Trump says talks with Israel or Iran are going good. And then the next article is Iran said, fuck Trump. And then the next article is like, Trump said he's about to fuck up this energy infrastructure over there. And then it's Iran's like, oh yeah, we'll let a couple ships go through in good faith. And then after that, it's like, Trump's like, I'm giving them their last fucking warning. So it's like, what the hell is actually going on? What's with this back and forth bullshit? I'm literally getting I don't know, at least 5 breaking news articles a day about the shit with Iran. And that's why I don't want to talk about it. It's fucking everywhere, man. But I thought it was good to bring this up because there's a new forefront of war with bigger, badder technologies and bigger, badder problems than what we faced in the past. So I think that it is good to maybe cover some of this stuff. Anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. linktree.com/JesterDooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms, the email doomdailyShow@gmail.com. Welcome back to the show, everybody. All right. So, to continue into this article, it goes into some lessons from Ukraine. So, lessons from Ukraine. Before the current Middle East conflict, one-way attack drones have already begun taking over modern battlefield dynamics. After Russian troops poured into eastern Ukraine in 2022, Ukrainian forces rapidly weaponized disposable drones to slow their advance. Without full control of the skies over Ukraine, Russia forces have often used one-way attack drones to hammer Ukraine cities and critical infrastructure. A prominent Russian propeller-driven one-way attack drone design used in the Ukraine conflict was known as the Jurin 2, is a derivative from the Iran Shahad 136 drone, which is now featured heavily in the ongoing clash in the Middle East. I mean, guys, this isn't like your Reaper drone. And like I said, it's not like a drone that you would see on your shelves at Walmart or something. This is a drastically different piece of equipment. Taking a page from the Ukraine conflict, the U.S. military developed its own Shahad derivative called the low-cost uncrewed combat attack system, also known as the Lucas. U.S. forces have incorporated the Lucas attack drones in ongoing strikes operations against Iran. U.S. military planners have also been taking steps to bolster air defense capability since the start of the Ukraine conflict. A 2024 Army Forces design document called for the formation of multiple new battalions to provide short-range air defense capabilities against aerial drone attacks. So like I said, you have to evolve, and they're evolving. We've been learning. Last summer, Hegseth ordered the establishment of a joint interagency task force to find ways to speed the delivery of additional capabilities for counting aerial drones. So, adapt and overcome. Okay? Adapt and overcome. In the wake of any conflict, there's data taken, research is done, and the higher-ups and the think tank people try to figure out ways to not make the same mistakes twice, to take and apply that real-world combat data to future missions and operations, and in doing this, have a better, stronger fighting force. And this is a very common thing that's done throughout any type of military, throughout any type of emergency services or law enforcement in our state. We take these situations and we learn from them. So, apparently the Russia and the Ukraine conflict gave us kind of an advance in this sort of chaos, knowing what to prepare for. But like the previous article said, sometimes one does get through. Multinational effort. U.S. and Israel forces have been working to cut off the Iran drone threat at its source. In his last assessment on March 19th, Hegseth said that the recent joint strikes have targeted Iranian drone production facilities and that launches of Iranian one-way attack drones remain down 90% from their peak near the start of the conflict. Even at a fraction of peak launch rates, Iran drone attacks are reported in the dozens of each day by the Gulf Arab states. On March 20th, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab had reported more than 50 total drone insertions over their airspace. A Pentagon spokesperson said Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab have all joined efforts to intercept drone attacks. Some of those efforts are taking place in mid-flight. General Dan Kane, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said during the Pentagon press briefing on March 19th that the partner forces in the region have flown AH-64 Apache helicopters to shoot down Iranian drones. What I would like to know is, what is the top speed of these drones? Apaches can fly pretty fucking fast, so I'm just kind of curious what the top speed of these drones are. The Advanced Precision Kill Weapon System, a 2.75-inch diameter Hydra rocket retrofitted with guidance kit, can be used for counter-drone purposes. These rockets can be mounted on the Apache helicopter as well as jet aircraft for aerial interception, as a ground launch version of the rockets is also available. Not all attack drones can be destroyed on the production line, on their launches, or mid-flight system. or mid-flight. Systems such as the counter-rocket artillery and mortar system, CRAM, which can fire up to 75 air-bursting 20-millimeter shells per second. That's some fucking firepower there, baby. May provide a last line of defense close to an attack drone's intended target. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was struck on March 17th. Witnesses told Reuters that CRAM shot down 2 incoming drones, but a third struck inside the embassy compound. Of the 25th attack, drones detected in Kuwait's airspace on March 20th, Kuwait forces were able to intercept 15. In response to a request from comment, a U.S. Central Command spokesperson declined to share attack drone interception rates by U.S. and partner forces during the ongoing conflict. Okay. Now, they shouldn't share. They should keep that information close to the chest for now. All right. Searching for cheaper countermeasures, the cost and ease of production of one-way attack drones add a challenging economic dynamic to countering them. Bando said Shahed-style drones costing tens of thousands of dollars could be used to destroy far more expensive systems, such as multi-million-dollar tank. Even the systems used to shoot down these attack drones could be more expensive than the drones themselves. In quotations, very often the missiles used to try to take them down cost in the millions, Bando said. The rapid adoption of cheap drones in modern warfare may vex military planners who spend years treating air defense as a head-to-head matchup with an enemy on near equal technology footing. We always thought it would be, $2 million missile against $2 million missile, said Jeff Thompson, president and CEO of drone technology company Red Cat Holdings. When you throw in a cheap Shahed 136s that are 30 grand or 40 grand, that changes everything. Thompson has been staying up to date, not just with the latest in one-way attack drone development, but also with the tools that can stop them. So-called non-kinetic methods of interception, including signal jamming and direct energy weapons, could lower the cost for blunting drone attacks, but not kinetic interceptors. Thompson said direct energy systems such as lasers, high-powered microwave bursts require large power sources. You can't just depend on those to be there protecting you 24 hours because you might not have enough power to do that, he said. So the article is available on the Epic Times, guys. You can go through this. It's very long-winded and it does keep going on. So I'm just going to cut it off there and talk about the idea of this indirect or the countermeasures that they're proposing. Now, on one hand, you look at systems like Israel's Iron Dome that just registers that there's an incoming attack and shoots up ordnance to stop the attack. And it works, right? We have all kinds of different missile battery systems we can use to counteract an incoming threat, okay? But the reality is these systems are still getting through and a countermeasure does need to be in place. And I'm wondering, so we just covered a little bit of EMP stuff on the It's Doomsday podcast. And it's really funny because I think that's the direction that this is going to be leading into. Could you imagine that? Like a direct EMP pulse weapon system that knows these things are incoming, could judge their distance and knows when to set that off. That would be pretty damn wild. Very futuristic. But I think that we're going to have to start resorting to these futuristic measures as conflicts go on. Now, I am by no means a former military person. I'm by no means an expert in any of this shit. But I got to tell you, when there's a problem, our country usually comes up with a damn good countermeasure and a damn good solution. And we usually show our ass with it. And then from then on, it's like we are he who is not to be fucked with. And I'm really hoping, I am so secretly hoping that they're like, all right, roll out the EMP shit. And they just start dropping shit out of the sky. I don't think that time is too far away. But I digress. It's just really interesting to me that, we've got all this, they're talking, millions and millions of dollars in ordnance to take out a target when it's, these guys are throwing up these, $30,000-$40,000 one-way drones strapped with explosives. And it's like, shit, that's working. Now, it also makes you wonder. I mean, all countries have, they budget for the military defense. They all do that, right? So every country has something that they're holding on to. All these countries have something to defend themselves in the event of conflict. But if they're able to mass produce these drones like this and they're just able to dispose of them so quickly and keep the attack coming, that's pretty fucking wild. to have that forethought of we're getting into this conflict and fuck, sending missiles and all the shit. We're just going to have a bunch of these shitty drones and we're just going to keep sending them at these assholes. Like that's their thought process. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Go to the website, jestersvoice.com. Leave me an audio message at the top of the screen. Very interesting, the directions and the tolls, or the directions and the turns that this conflict is taking. And if you haven't already, I know you're feeling the effects at the gas pump. I know you are. It's climbing. And we're going to start seeing the cost of all these other goods start to increase with that. It's on its way. So I would just hope that, we get through Easter, because a lot of countries, and I have no idea what some of these other religions or countries do for Easter, but a lot of countries celebrate Easter and there's big gatherings of people, stuff like that. I'm hoping these fuckers give it a rest and they don't fuck a bunch of people up during Easter. Like, let's hope for that. Let's keep our fingers crossed. In the meantime, guys, make sure to share out the show to everybody. Do that. Put it on your Facebook page. Put it out there. Share it out so people are getting the Doom Daily Show. That'd be fantastic. And you all have a great weekend. Producer Scooter and I will be back Monday morning with another exciting episode of the Doom Daily Show. Have a great weekend, everybody.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.